Hey, what's up, guys? I'm just trying to be serious here about everything, and I'm trying to reveal some things about a lot that is going on in the Bigfoot world and how so much stuff is being suppressed and for their benefit. And Rio recently took down his last video after I did what I did. The higher ups got a hold of it. What they wanted to do was actually ease it out to you, but they didn't expect me to do what I did to his video. And this new video you're going to see is trying to recapture your heartfelt imagination and feel sorry for him, so he draws you back in. This is part of their plan, what they want to do. They panicked, and that's why he deleted it, and that's why he didn't really sleep. And if you go down through the comments here, people say, "You're a machine, do you ever sleep?" All kinds of stuff. Well, he can't, because he's being told what to do and what to say. Look at his picture. Who does this on their page? He tries to look professional, and it all came from the beginning because they have a plan for him. He popped up out of nowhere, and I know a lot of things, and I'm going to be divulging them slow but surely. People really need to start paying attention, and I'm truthful, honest, down to earth, and I hope you guys really like this. But if you watch this video here, he is trying to recapture your heartstrings, play on your heartstrings, your emotions. I'm a good guy, let's talk about dogs and things that have happened. Maybe the things did happen to his dogs, but he's using that because what they'll tell you to do is take a traumatic event in your life and use that and spin it in a different direction to recapture the public after something bad has happened to you, because this was immediate. So he goes from talking about cover-ups and Bigfoot cover-ups to crying. He's crying in this video. Have you ever seen him cry? Have you ever seen such fakery in a way? So let's listen to a little bit of it.
Callie is recovering from surgery. She got some quills removed today, so that was good. I've been thinking a lot about intuition lately. I've been thinking a lot about intuition. Now, Sasquatch, geez, how do I want to explain all this? Well, let me just say this. We know that intuition is real. I have a friend who told me once that his wife bolted out of bed at 3 in the morning, ran down the hallway, dove across the bedroom just in time to catch her newborn baby, or like a young baby, falling onto the hardwood floor. Just in time. And it was silent. There was nothing to indicate that was going to happen. Now, all of us have probably heard stories like that. So, intuition, Alfie, heal. Intuition is something that is interesting to me. I've also seen, now granted, I am not a superstitious person, and I try to be spiritual, or I try to at least consider myself a spiritual person, but the truth is, maybe I'm not too spiritual either. I'm very turned off by anything that is paranormal, religious, spiritual, mystical. I just don't like that stuff at all.
He doesn't like it, but what's going to happen is he's going to be forced to do it. But anyway, I'm going to fast forward a little bit.
I feel like, the whatever you want to call it, paranormal or you know, I don't even know what I want to say. One aspect of the type of abilities and senses that we have that maybe can't be quantified or scientifically measured or fully explained, yet that is undeniable, is intuition. Now, I've experienced it several times, like, for example, with Alfie right here. There was a time, like, Alfie is not intellectually gifted. He's not necessarily a super, and there was a time when I felt like I was just getting him in trouble constantly, and like it went on for months, and finally I realized, dude, you're like always angry at your dog. That cannot be good for him. That cannot be healthy for him to constantly feel like you're not having any positive feelings towards him, just always anger. And so I sat down with him, and this is not something that I do very often, but I actually laid down with him, and I said, "Come here, buddy." And I just sat there and stroked him, and I talked to him, and I apologized. I gave like a very, very heartfelt.
He's trying to show that he's heartfelt and compassionate, so you guys see that he's playing on your heartstrings. He's saying that about the dog. And granted, it may be real, but they tell you to use real events so you feel this way. So when he presents it, it's over the top.
Sincere apology. Oh, by the way, he was the reason why I started thinking about this was because he was starting to act more and more depressed. And so that's what got me thinking, like, hey, look how you've been treating him. So anyway, I gave him a heartfelt apology. I told him that I loved him, and I promised him that I would change. Well, I can't explain it, but somehow I know that he understood on some level what was happening. And his depression went away immediately, and he just was back to his old self. And he walked closer to me. He started cuddling with me, which he didn't do before. He stopped being like afraid and nervous around me. Like everything changed. It was just so obvious that somehow, in some way, he just totally got the message. It was a very sincere moment. It was probably the most sincere moment he and I have ever had together. So,
if you notice, he's talking about paranormal stuff more, and he claims he hates it, but he still talks about it.
Intuition, like there was communication there somehow. Okay, and it was like more than just that it exists, that that screws everything up. And don't for a second, guys, don't think that I'm like jumping on the happy train and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna start being all spiritual and intuitive with the Sasquatch. No, that's not what I'm saying at all. So I'm not gonna start talking about teleporting or anything. I just want to be completely sincere, like honest. I want to be honest. I don't want to be superstitious or spiritual or crazy, but you have to be honest too that these things do happen. I mean, there's another experience that I had that's really dear to my heart.
Here it comes.
Like, I guess a year ago, I rescued a dog named Roscoe. I rescued him in Oklahoma, actually. When
He's a dog rescuer now.
worked out there, and
he worked in Oklahoma. This guy's resume is amazing. I think he's worked everywhere and done everything besides be president.
he was just, he was skin and bones, and he got him out of the forest. He's walking along the side of the highway, and he was just filled with ticks, literally hundreds and hundreds of ticks. He had mange, and I can't remember I think he was a Catahoula mix, but beautiful, wonderful dog. So agile and athletic. He He's so kind and loving. It's a,
So the dog was agile and athletic, but it was mangy, filled with ticks.
a lot like Alfie. And I loved that dog. And we spent a lot of money getting him. This is a hard story to tell. Anyway, we got him all fixed up. We got him happy and healthy. And my wife and I, we were having some, financial. No, actually, it was.
They were having financial problems. Huh.
It was financial difficulties, but it was also the city that we were in, and we couldn't have more than
I mean, we've never seen him break down and cry, have we?
we couldn't have more than 2 dogs. And so we talked for a while, and we realized we had to give him to somebody. We had to find him a new home. And we decided on a family that lived up north, and the day came that we were going to drive him up there. And I said, Roscoe, let's go, buddy, let's get in the car. And he immediately knew what was happening. He was incredibly depressed, and he just stared blankly, and he was so sad, and he started to just cry, just these long drawn out whines, and these innocent but desperate and hopeless moans and whines and cries. If you've ever heard a dog do that, it's just absolutely breaks your heart. And he just kind of was limp, and he would just kind of walk really slowly. We helped him into the car. I had never seen him act like this until that day. Hey, Alfie, heel. Alfie, come here. The entire time driving up there, it was a 2-hour drive, he cried the entire time. And we both knew that he knew exactly what was happening. We were giving him away. It's hard to remember that. But how did he know? That's the question. I knew. He knew. We all knew. Our other dogs even knew. Everybody knew what was happening, but how was he going to know? He can't speak English. How on earth did he know that was the day that we were giving him up? That we were essentially abandoning him, pawning him off onto somebody else? So, anyway, the point is, intuition is real.
So now he's telling you intuition is real. I mean, we may know that. We may feel that. We get gut feelings. We understand all that. And it really probably is. But he has to do it in a sad way where he's crying to recapture you.
There is evidently, communication happening. So where am I going with this? What does this have to do with Sasquatch? Well, hey, come here. A lot of people have talked about how Sasquatch are intuitive, and I would have to agree. Based on my observation, it does actually seem like, well, let me just share a story. So in Utah, in Tooele, which is a Tooelle, I believe, maybe just one L. Anyway, Tooele, a big guy in a black hoodie, but then he realized very quickly that it was it was hair, and it was just black hair all over this creature's body, a giant man-like creature. And as soon as he focused in on it and watched it, this thing stood straight up, turned around, and looked straight at him. And we're talking thousands of feet away here. So, and he said that it was so jarring, it was so startling, that he actually, I think he said he jolted back, and he put away his scope, and he went into the house because he felt fear. Isn't that interesting? So, like, there was kind of intuition on both parts there. Like, he felt afraid. Now, a lot of people talk about, like, mind speaking, teleportation, yummy. A lot of people talk about mind speaking and teleportation and all sorts of, glowing eyes and geez, all sorts of stuff. Interdimensional travel and
He's trying to break it easy to you in the direction that they're going.
Coming into your dreams visitations. I have to be honest, I don't really believe that stuff, but what do I know? What do I know? I am, by no means have I arrived at some sort of conclusion about these things, because I just barely know anything about this species. But I do have to be honest, I have not observed anything at all paranormal in all my experience with these things. And I'm not saying that I have extensive experience, but I do have I have had a lot of contact, not a lot of sightings. I've only seen them 4 times, but I've had a lot.
He's only seen them 4 times within like 6 months of his researching. I myself have seen them 3 times, and it's over 5 years. I mean,
I've spent a lot of time near these things.
People search for 30 and 40 years and never have a sighting.
When they're walking in the woods near me, or they're throwing things or wood knocking or vocalizing or whatever they're doing, I have spent a lot of time around them, and I've never witnessed anything to validate or verify any of these paranormal claims. However, the intuition thing does pique my interest, to be honest. It really does, because these do seem like very, very intuitive animals. Very intuitive. I hear about that kind of stuff all the time. For example, you can feel when they're watching you, or they definitely can feel when you're watching them. Les Stroud, I believe, he actually said that when you spend several days out in the woods, your senses become so sharp, including your sense of intuition, and you can actually know where an animal is before you hear it or smell it or see it. You can actually just sense that it's there.
The reason that is because in society we've been dumbed down. We're given computers or laptops and cell phones and our 9-to-5s, and we bust our humps every day or whatever it may be, and we watch TV and we eat good food. We're not out there living off the land, farming, so on and so forth, like our ancestors. So what happens is our basic senses are dulled down, and that's why I talked about how your brain gets overloaded when you go into the forests, because it's trying to process everything it hasn't been used to. See, what I do is This isn't just for bashing or something that people want to say. What this is I'm trying to show you there's an outline, that there is an underlying outline of the direction they want this to go and what they want to happen. I'm not doing this because I want to do this. I've been blackballed, I've been pushed away, and I'm trying to come forward. I've had things deleted, things go missing. The most recent thing is I've had police officers show up at my house today and tell me that I don't even believe this because I have the receipt, but I have an unpaid fine from 2004, and that if I didn't pay it, I was going to go to jail. And it's a substantially large fine, a $3,500 fine from over 12 years ago. And I know it was paid. I have a court-documented receipt that it's paid, but they said that that's not good enough because I don't actually have the carbon copy from the court. So I have to go pay this amount or risk going to jail. So is that odd? Does anybody see anything odd about this? What you guys need to understand is there's bigger players here at work. There's more things going on, and I'm going to try to release it. I try to post on people's pages. I'm not even allowed to sometimes. You have no idea. Recently, Anthony Moffat just deleted all his stuff. Don't you think that's funny too? Who knows if he did it or if somebody else did it. But there's a lot more going on, guys, and they don't want this out, and I'm trying to get it out.
You turn your head and you look, and there's a moose standing there. Or there's a deer or whatever. And so, and then all sorts of indigenous tribes all over the world, like all sorts of ancient cultures, tribal peoples, talk about the same type of intuition, and in fact using it to track animals and all this stuff. In fact, we've seen, interspecies communication. There's this one documentary on wolves where this pack of wolves is hunting, I believe it's a herd of bison, I think. And what was it, a herd of bison or elk? I can't remember, but anyway, right in the middle of the hunt, like mid-hunt, the whole pack of wolves just kind of stops hunting, and they just basically surround this elk or this bison, and they just wait for it. There's just like this mutual understanding, and it just sits there, and it's like apparently okay with them being there, and they're not being aggressive, and somehow they knew that it was going to die. They knew that it was about to die, and the thing died, and they just ate it. How did the wolves know that? So we can observe things going on in nature that are very clearly, they indicate some sort of communication, but we can't even begin to really identify what that is. And so it's okay, buddy. Good boy. And so it seems to me that the Sasquatch, unlike humans, have evolved to kind of hone that intuition a little bit more sharply than humans have. We've pretty much completely abandoned that sense. Like we've almost written it out of our culture completely. Go, buddy. Go. Maybe a bitterness or something. Like I can't stand the abuse and the craziness and the lack of critical thinking that people allow themselves to participate in. I can't.
So he can't stand that we're really thinking and we really know the truth, and he's trying to get over on us, and he's trying to put you in the position of, oh my God, I can't believe you would stoop to that level, or you need to believe me, basically.
And you think you have the answers, and you've arrived at some spiritual thing, and so you literally stop studying history, you stop thinking critically, you stop researching, and you've just basically become an ignoramus, an uneducated idiot who wants to stuff your philosophy down everyone else's throat. And it's just crazy annoying. Like, I just can't stand that. And I definitely don't want to become anything like that. But at the same time, you can't just turn your back on everything that's has to do with anything outside of the five senses. And so
I think he's talking about his mentor that turned his back on him.
There's this guy named John Young who literally can track, and this has been scientifically documented by hundreds of times, that he can literally track animals and be accurate every time. He can track them with this sense of this energy, this intuition. I think he calls it intuitive tracking. And you can literally track an animal just by kind of sensing where they are. That is incredible to me. And so that makes I kind of want to learn. Again, I'm not hopping on the crazy wagon or anything. I still completely I completely don't think that this contradicts science at all, and I'm very much of the opinion that we have a responsibility to ourselves, to our brain, to our own sanity, to be as scientific as possible. But that doesn't mean we have to act like scientists, because some scientists are idiots. But the philosophy of science itself is a beautiful thing, and it includes a lot of things that don't seem to make sense according to Western culture. So don't get science mixed up with stupid, ignorant Western culture, because they're two different things. I think we can be maybe spiritual, or maybe we can focus on some of these things that I'm talking about without departing from science. Okay? Now, I think that if I'm going to say, well, Sasquatch is in the Bible, and it's the Nephilim, or it's a demon, and I know it, and everyone else is stupid, and I'm not going to, change from this position. Now that's hopping on the crazy train. That's being stupid. But
so everybody that's done that is being stupid, or that was spiritually enlightened, or has had something like that. Even his friend Michael Merchant has gone to that realm.
I think it's totally okay to explore these observable things. Now that's the key word, is observation. Like, when we can document and observe and experience something repeatedly over and over again, then it's...
So what he's saying is it's okay to observe it and document it, but don't come out and talk about it, because once you jump on the crazy train, you're nuts.
It's not like you're being, some paranormal weirdo. Intuition is something we...
See, you're not being a paranormal weirdo when you just observe it and document it. But when you start talking about it, you're a paranormal weirdo. But this is the direction they're going for next year, is the paranormal, so he's trying to prepare people, because he's in the public.
Can observe, and somehow it is connected with Sasquatch. And so I'm not going to start saying that it teleports or anything, but I definitely want to think about this a little.
By July, he will be into the paranormal more than 60%.
A bit more, and just kind of let it stew in my mind. Anyway, sorry about the boring video, but it's just an interesting topic. Anyway, see you guys.
Alright. Guys, I just want to outline this stuff. This is not BS. This is not some mockery. This is not some bashing. I need you to wrap your heads around the things that are going on, like a mafia. There's like your mafia head, which branch out to certain people, which branch out to other people, which branch out to the forums, which branch out to you guys. Everything is controlled. Content that is released, everything is controlled. Nobody wants to believe this. They're scared to believe this. So I'm going to start doing this to a lot of videos per se, because he throws things in there that he's been told, and he is definitely the best double talker that I know, and he reminds me of Obama. So I mean, guys, hey, listen, I'm not out here to stir any pots. I'm doing my thing in the woods, but I also have to do this part too, because the arguments that I've had with the higher ups and the issues that have gone on and the way they have blackballed me, and now a police officer shows up at my residence and tells me that there was going to be a warrant if I don't go pay X amount of dollars. I think that's radical within 24 hours of making a video. People are exercising their power. When you have an outstanding fine that is a $3,500 fine that was paid, and I have documentation, but I just don't have the carbon copy from the court, I'm forced to repay it, or you're forced to go to jail, and these things start to happen to people, and people don't really want to believe it. So I will show us paying this fine so you guys believe me. And I also got word that I got two things. A friend of mine is going to try to get me a FLIR, see what he can do, but there's no promises. Also, I got word that if I stop doing some of these videos here, that a FLIR will magically arrive on my doorstep. So maybe this will be the last one. And they told me to watch. They asked me when my camp out was, and I told them on the 13th. They said, oh, that would be nice to have it on the 12th, wouldn't it? So I took the hint, because they're saying, you know, we can make it happen if you shut your mouth. Either way, guys, please understand.